Thank you for tuning into this special report. Are kids smarter than we think? Are you smarter than a fifth grader? Do my children understand anything I say? Because sometimes I'm not sure. All of these questions and more will be answered in this episode of the School Home Connection. Working with children for half my life has taught me a lot about how children think and what they understand. And spoiler alert, it's a mixed bag.
Life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Thanks, Tom. I couldn't have said it better myself. Each child is going to comprehend things at different times and in different ways. And with each child being a bit different, it can be easy for us to either overestimate or underestimate how much they really understand. Fortunately, with some simple strategies, we can help children develop critical thinking skills and promote deeper understandings more effectively. I've recently been reading a book called Making Thinking Visible, and its goal is to get children to think about their thinking, thus developing a deeper understanding of various topics. It's a bit unfortunate that this book was written directly to teachers and with a classroom focus because many of the ideas presented shouldn't begin and end in the classroom. They should be carrying over into all aspects of a child's life. So today we're going to look at 4 strategies that you can use at home to gauge what your child understands, promote critical thinking skills, and develop deeper understandings. Strategy number 1 is to name and notice thinking. When your child makes connections, summarizes, observes closely and describes, or considers different points of views, point it out. Say things like, I like how you used what you already knew to make connections. That's a perspective I hadn't thought about. If this isn't something that you already do, it's probably going to feel unnatural to do at first, and most likely you'll look like me when I first started doing this. The end. Does anybody have any thoughts they'd like to share after reading that story? Yes, James.
This story reminded me of the time that I went to the park with my mom and we fed the ducks.
That's some good thinking, James. Hold on, let me check my notes. Yes, good job making connections, James. Yes, I do that too sometimes. The more intentional you are about doing this, I promise the more natural it will feel. Naming and noticing thinking will help give your child the vocabulary to express their thinking and help them understand what kind of thinking could be effective for different situations. Strategy number 2 is to focus on the process, not the product. This one's huge because products are normally just one-time things, but processes can be repeated and tweaked to get different results. Imagine you baked the best cake you've ever had. Only problem is, you didn't write anything down, you didn't measure anything, you just threw it all into a bowl, mixed it, and tossed it in the oven.
Oh man, that was the best cake I've ever had. How did I make that? LeBron! Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Now yes, that's a bit of an exaggeration of what focusing on the product looks like, but the core of the idea is still there. The process is where all the learning takes place. The product is only a small picture of what was learned. To focus on the process, encourage thinking strategies during the process. And then afterwards, instead of spending the whole time reflecting on the result, spend more time reflecting on how they got to that result. Strategy number 3 is a simple but powerful question to help you gauge what your child really understands, and is to ask what makes you say that after they give a response. Be sure to be non-judgmental and curious in the way you say this. What makes you say that? What makes you say that? Don't inflect any of the words, just simply say it. Doing this will help you get a small window into the thoughts behind their statements. Strategy number 4 is to make your own thinking visible. I saved this one for last because it's probably one of the most important ones. Children learn so much just from observing what other people do. If you want to learn more about that, I have a whole video on the power of modeling. I'll link it right here. When doing something with your child, talk about your thought process out loud. This will help them to make connections with how they think and help them learn to think in new and creative ways. A great way to do this is to show your child how you learn about a hobby or a passion of yours. For example, I might model my thought process behind playing basketball. I might say something like, when practicing shooting, I want to slow my mind down to focus purely on the form. I want to make sure that my mind is making the connection from how my toes propel me off the ground all the way up to my eyes focusing on where the shot will go. As always, I want to leave you with a goal, and today's goal is to engage your child in conversation. As a teacher, one of the best ways for me to understand my students' thinking wasn't in the classroom. In the classroom, there's 18 kids, all with different needs, talents, and levels of development. So my attention's brought in so many different directions. So what are you going to write about today?
Mr. Maxwell, is peanut butter 1 or 2 words?
James, peanut butter is 2 words. Okay,
I have a question, Mr. Maxwell.
Yeah? Okay. I'll be there in a minute.
Mr. Maxwell, Olivia's cutting her hair.
Oh my goodness, what now? As a parent, your life can feel the same way. So many different things that you have to stay on top of, it can be really hard to focus on what your child is actually saying. The best way for me to understand my students was sitting with them at lunch, spending just 20 minutes talking and listening. I learned about their interests, their friends, their family, how they think about things, and what they think about. So be intentional about setting aside time just to talk with your child, and you can talk about anything. Some great ideas for this could be eating together with no distractions, reading together and then talking about the story afterwards, or having a set-aside family time for games, crafts, or just to chat. Discovering your child's thoughts and understandings will give you so many insights and help you better support and advocate for them. That's the whole goal of this channel, is to help parents develop a deeper understanding of their children. If that's something that interests you, make sure to subscribe because I come out with new videos every single week covering different topics. After watching this video, I want you to remember to name and notice thinking, focus on the process, ask what makes you say that, and model your own thinking. If you have any questions about this video, leave them in the comments. I love to hear from you and I respond to every single one. Thank you so much for watching this School Home Connection video. If you found this video helpful, it would help me out a lot to leave a like below. Make sure to subscribe so that you can stay up to date with new videos that come out every single week. And again, if you have any questions, make sure to leave it in the comments. Thank you again for watching. I hope you have a great day. Keep learning, keep growing. Bye.